Welcome to the Sleepy Sage's Science Diary channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. Perhaps you've had a long day, or maybe you're the kind of soul who enjoys letting their mind sink into some deep, quiet mysteries before drifting off to sleep, rather than counting sheep. Either way, tonight's journey is prepared just for you. You don't have to do anything at all except rest. Let your mind relax. Let your breathing slow, and let your body grow light, as if you are gently descending into a pool of warm, serene water. Because tonight, we won't just be watching from the shore. We are going to gently dive into our other home, the deep sea. A vast, lightless domain, more immense and less explored than outer space itself. It is shrouded in eternal darkness, yet filled with the most ancient and most resilient secrets of our planet. We will begin at the boundary where sunlight disappears, and softly drift toward the ocean floor. You will hear tales of colossal deep-sea beasts, of life boiling near lightless hydrothermal vents, and of how the ocean sculpted the very story of our planet. Within these gentle narratives, perhaps one or two facts will spark a quiet curiosity, allowing you to peacefully drift away to sleep. And just as we help you find peace, if you enjoy this calm, curious exploration that helps you unwind at the end of the day, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. It helps more quiet souls, like you, find their way home. Now, let us begin. 100 Secrets of the Deep Sea. The Immensity and Pressure. 1. The deep sea is the largest inhabitable space on Earth. It occupies more than 95% of the planet's total biosphere volume. Imagine that the familiar land, sky, and shallow waters are merely tiny boundaries of this vast underwater kingdom. The deep sea, as we define it, begins where the sun's light fades, extending down to the deepest ocean floor. It is a gigantic, silent world, full of potential life, whose scale and unexplored nature make it the most mysterious frontier of our planet. 2. The average depth of the ocean is approximately 3,700 meters. That's about 12,100 feet, an almost unimaginable depth. When we average the depths of all the oceans, this figure tells us that the majority of Earth's water is perpetually covered in darkness. For comparison, humans, without specialized submersibles, can barely touch a fraction of this average depth. Picture the thousands of meters of water resting above your head, isolating you completely from the familiar sunlit world. 3. The Twilight Zone is the deepest point sunlight can penetrate. Also known as the Mesopelagic zone, it sits between 200 meters and 1,000 meters deep. In this region, sunlight is extremely faint, absorbed and scattered by the water, allowing only trace amounts of blue light to arrive. Consequently, the creatures here have evolved large eyes to capture these sparse light particles, living in a world of blue haze forever on the edge of sunset. It is a transition zone full of ghost-like life and vast vertical migrations. 4. More than 80% of the ocean is completely dark. Beyond 1,000 meters deep, we enter the true Abyssal zone and the even deeper Hadal zones. Here, absolutely no light from the sun can penetrate. It is a world of perpetual night, constant temperature, extreme pressure, and stillness. Deep-sea organisms survive by relying on bioluminescence, or purely on touch and hearing. This immense area gives us the most profound insight into the adaptability of life on Earth. 5. The deepest point is the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench. Its depth exceeds 10,900 meters, 36,070 feet, which is over 2 kilometers deeper than if Mount Everest were submerged in the trench. The Challenger Deep represents the most extreme depth on our planet. There, the main challenge is not just the cold and darkness, but the unbelievable, immense pressure. Human exploration there, via specialized submersibles, has been rare. Each journey is like a trip to another planet. 6. Deep-sea creatures endure pressure equivalent to 50 large jet planes. At the bottom of the Challenger Deep, the pressure reaches 15,000 pounds per square inch, or over 1,100 standard atmospheres. To survive in this environment, these organisms lack gas-filled organs like lungs that would be compressed. Their bodies are mostly composed of water and specialized fluids. Their proteins and cell membranes have evolved over millions of years to ensure they function normally under extreme pressure without collapsing. 7. Over 90% of deep-sea species remain undiscovered and unnamed by humans. This figure constantly reminds us how limited our knowledge is regarding the planet's most extensive habitat. Scientists estimate that millions of unique organisms, including microbes, invertebrates, and fish, may exist in the deep sea. Nearly every deep-sea expedition returns with entirely new, never-before-seen species, whose names and ways of life are still waiting to be uncovered. Food and survival in the dark. 8. Most of the deep sea's food comes from marine snow in the upper ocean. When plankton, algae, and fish in the upper ocean die, their remains mix with fecal matter to form slow-sinking particles of organic matter. This particulate flux is called marine snow. It drifts down like falling snowflakes, forming the base of the deep-sea food web. It is a sparse but continuous supply of nutrients, and the sole food source in this world of darkness. 9. Marine snow is the primary energy source for deep-sea life. In the absence of sunlight for photosynthesis, deep-sea creatures must rely on this celestial snowfall. They have evolved various adaptations, such as huge mouths and slow metabolisms, to maximize the use of every piece of organic detritus that sinks. Some benthic organisms act like scavengers, weighting and sifting this precious nutrition on the seafloor. This reliance on scarce resources shapes the unique survival patterns of deep-sea life. 10. Many deep-sea fish glow. This is called bioluminescence. In the eternal darkness, bioluminescence is a vital survival tool. Deep-sea organisms use chemical reactions within their bodies to emit cold light, like living fireflies. They use light to attract prey, such as the anglerfish's fishing rod, to find mates, or to create a countershading effect for camouflage, preventing them from being spotted by predators below. 11. Bioluminescence is the most common form of light in the deep sea. Its color is mostly blue or green, as these two wavelengths penetrate the farthest in water. If a deep-sea creature emits red light, only it and a few red light-seeing predators can perceive it. Thus, blue light is a universal communication signal, while red light is a secretive night vision reserved for predators. 12. Some deep-sea creatures create a light trap to lure prey. The anglerfish is the most famous example. The lure on the female's head is filled with glowing symbiotic bacteria. It dangles the lure in the dark, like a fatal trap. Curious small fish are drawn to the light, and when they get close, the anglerfish quickly engulfs them with its massive, sharp-toothed mouth. This is one of the most efficient predatory strategies in an environment of food scarcity. 13. Male deep-sea anglerfish are significantly smaller than the females. This extreme sexual dimorphism reflects the difficulty of finding a mate in the deep ocean. Once a male finds a female, he bites onto her with his teeth and attaches for life. Their circulatory systems merge, and the male becomes a permanent part of the female's body, receiving nutrients in return for providing a constant supply of sperm. This strategy ensures that a chance encounter in the vast darkness is never wasted. 14. Giant squid can grow up to 13 meters long in the deep sea. The giant squid is one of the ocean's most mysterious predators, only found in the extreme depths. Most of our knowledge comes from beached carcasses and rare deep-sea footage. They are immense in size, with long tentacles covered in suckers and barbs, establishing them as one of the deep-sea ecosystem's apex predators. 15. The eyes of the giant squid are the largest in the animal kingdom. They can reach the size of a dinner plate, evolved to capture the faintest light in the extreme darkness, especially the distant bioluminescence. This immense visual system may have evolved to detect the faint light disturbances created by another deep-sea apex predator, the sperm whale, as it moves through the dark. Their visual system is a true marvel of deep-sea evolution. The seafloor and geology. 16. Abyssal plains cover more than half of the Earth's surface. These vast flat areas are called the abyssal plains. Located at the base of the continental slopes, they are typically between 3,000 and 6,000 meters deep. They are among the flattest places on Earth, expansive and uniform, with virtually no relief. This is a tranquil and constant world, disturbed only by slow-moving deep-sea currents. 17. Sediments on the abyssal plains are the accumulation of millions of years. The fine silt covering the seafloor is primarily composed of the skeletons of microorganisms that sank from the upper ocean, mixed with microparticles from terrestrial runoff. Their accumulation rate is extremely slow, often adding only a few millimeters every 1,000 years. When you look at the deep-sea mud, you are looking at millions of years of Earth's history, quietly settling layer upon layer. 18. Hydrothermal vents are the oases of the deep sea. These vents are cracks in the seafloor crust that spew out superheated black water, heated by geothermal energy, reaching temperatures up to 400 degrees Celsius. This water is rich in toxic chemicals like sulfides. Yet, around the vents, isolated and thriving ecosystems have been established, contrasting sharply with the barren surrounding seafloor, like flames in the darkness. 19. Life at hydrothermal vents relies on chemosynthesis, not sunlight. The life forms here, primarily bacteria, harness energy from the chemicals emitted by the vents through a process called chemosynthesis rather than photosynthesis. These chemosynthetic bacteria form the base of the food chain, representing one of the few deep-sea ecosystems independent of solar energy, and possibly one of the most ancient and primitive on Earth. 20. The biomass density around these vents is 10,000 to 100,000 times higher than in other deep-sea areas. Because the vents provide a continuous energy source, life aggregates densely here. Giant tube worms, mussels, crabs, and shrimp cluster around the vents, forming a crowded, vibrant community. They are islands of life, supported by the Earth's internal energy, forming a stark contrast to the surrounding abyssal plains. 21. Tube worms can live in the 450 degrees Celsius water of the vents. These large, red, tube-shaped worms are the most iconic organism of the vent ecosystem. They have no mouth and no digestive system, relying on symbiotic chemosynthetic bacteria that live inside them. Their red plumes absorb sulfides from the water for the bacteria to utilize. They can live for hundreds of years, a biological marvel of evolution in extreme environments. 22. Deep sea water is frigid, typically between 2 degrees Celsius and 4 degrees Celsius. Except for localized areas around hydrothermal vents, the deep ocean temperature remains constantly near freezing. This cold environment, coupled with high pressure, significantly slows down the metabolism and decomposition rates of organisms. This is why deep-sea creatures are often slow-growing and long-lived, adapting to this extreme low-energy environment. 23. Seamounts are ecological hotspots in the deep sea. Seamounts are submarine mountains, dead or active volcanoes that rise from the seafloor but do not break the surface. They provide a stable substrate for deep-sea corals, sponges, and other benthic life, attracting large aggregations of fish. These towering structures alter ocean currents, bringing nutrients to the surface and making them crucial centers of deep-sea biodiversity. 24. Deep-sea corals can live for thousands of years. Unlike shallow water corals, deep-sea corals thrive in the cold and dark. Their growth rate is extremely slow, adding only a few millimeters per year, giving them exceptionally long lifespans. Some colonies are thousands of years old. They form complex, three-dimensional structures, providing vital shelter and habitat for countless other deep-sea species. 25. The deep sea has its own weather system. While we don't see storms, huge deep-sea currents and seafloor eddies affect the transport of nutrients and oxygen. These slow but large-scale movements of water masses constitute the climate of the deep-sea environment. These currents slowly move cold water from the poles to the equator, forming a crucial part of global ocean circulation. Climate and human impact. 26. The ocean is the largest carbon sink on Earth. It absorbs massive amounts of human-generated carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Through the biological pump and the solubility pump, vast quantities of carbon are fixed in the deep sea, some even settling into seafloor sediments for long-term sequestration. The deep sea plays a vital role in regulating the Earth's climate. 27. Over 90% of ocean plastic pollution eventually sinks into the deep sea. While we focus on beach litter, huge amounts of plastic microparticles and debris ultimately settle into the deep ocean. This plastic has been found in abyssal plains, submarine canyons, and even the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It decomposes incredibly slowly in the deep sea, posing a long-term threat to benthic ecosystems. 28. Deep-sea organisms have extremely slow metabolisms. To cope with food scarcity, deep-sea organisms have evolved minimal metabolic rates. They consume very little energy, move slowly, and can go without food for long periods. This energy-saving mode allows them to survive in this impoverished environment and contributes to their longevity. 29. Some deep-sea fish reproduce only once, then die. This is a reproductive strategy adapted to the low-nutrient environment. Because finding a mate and accumulating energy are extremely difficult, once they successfully reproduce, they invest all remaining energy into their offspring, subsequently dying of exhaustion. This ensures the maximum chance of survival for their progeny. 30. Yeti crabs cultivate bacteria on their fuzzy claws to farm their own food. This unique species of crab lives near hydrothermal vents. Their claws are covered in fine, hair-like structures where they cultivate chemosynthetic bacteria, much like a farmer tends a crop. They then use specialized mouthparts to harvest and consume these bacteria as their source of nutrition. This is one of the most inventive survival methods in the deep sea. 31. The deep sea has a unique form of dark camouflage. Since only faint blue light exists in the deep sea, red light is completely absorbed by the water, making red objects appear pure black in the darkness. Most deep-sea shrimp and some fish are red or black, which makes them difficult for bioluminescent predators to spot, a perfect strategy for deep-sea stealth. 32. Some deep-sea fish have massive teeth because food is extremely scarce. Every opportunity to feed is precious in the deep ocean. To ensure that captured prey cannot escape, some predators have evolved large, sharp, inwardly curving teeth. This allows them to grasp any food that happens to pass by, even if the prey is larger than they are. 33. The viperfish has teeth so large it cannot fully close its mouth. The viperfish is an iconic deep-sea fish with characteristically long fangs. Its teeth even extend back past its eyes, serving to cage the prey during capture. It uses bioluminescence on its head to attract prey, and then uses these needle-like teeth to ensure the victim cannot escape. 34. Deep-sea sponges can survive for over 10,000 years. These sessile organisms are among the longest living animals known on Earth. Due to the stability of the deep-sea environment and the extremely low temperatures, their metabolism is so slow it is almost negligible. They filter nutrients from the water at an incredibly slow rate, resting silently on deep-sea rocks, living witnesses to the passing of oceanic time. 35. The oldest forms of life on Earth may have originated at deep-sea hydrothermal vents. The early Earth's atmosphere was not suitable for life as we know it. The chemical energy and protective environment provided by hydrothermal vents are considered ideal sites for the origin of life. These extreme sun-independent ecosystems may indeed be the beginning of all life as we know it. 36. Submarine canyons exist in the deep sea, rivaling the scale of the Grand Canyon on land. These enormous underwater ravines are cut by high-density sediment flows called turbidity currents, forming the deep sea's own river systems. They are crucial conduits connecting the continental shelf to the abyssal plains, transporting massive amounts of sediment and nutrients from the shallow sea to the deep. 37. The deep sea has its own soundscape. It is filled with low-frequency whale songs, the rumbling of seafloor earthquakes, and the cracking sounds of tectonic activity. However, in recent years, human vessel noise, seismic exploration sonar, and deep-sea mining activities are increasingly drowning out these natural sounds, interfering with deep-sea creatures that rely on sound for navigation and communication. 38. Most of the ocean's salt comes from submarine volcanoes and hydrothermal vents. During volcanic eruptions and hydrothermal vent activity, minerals from the rocks are dissolved and released into the water, becoming the primary source of ocean salinity. This geochemical process has been key to the ocean's chemical balance for billions of years. 39. Most deep-sea organisms do not have a swim bladder. The swim bladder, a gas-filled sac used for buoyancy control, would be crushed by the immense water pressure. Therefore, deep-sea fish and organisms have evolved other methods. They use oil or water-rich gelatinous body tissues to maintain neutral buoyancy, adapting to the high-pressure environment. 40. The total volume of water in the ocean exceeds 1.3 billion cubic kilometers. This massive number represents the huge reservoir of water on the Earth's surface. If all the water on Earth could be spread out evenly, it would cover the entire planet to a depth of several kilometers. This scale is fundamental to the existence of life on Earth. 41. Deep-sea submersibles require hours to reach the seafloor. Due to the immense depths, even the fastest submersibles must descend slowly and cautiously. For instance, the descent process alone to the bottom of the Mariana Trench's Challenger Deep takes about 4 hours. This lengthy journey is a test of human technology and patience. 42. The biodiversity in the deep sea can rival that of tropical rainforests. While large organisms are scarce, the sheer variety of deep-sea benthic life, particularly invertebrates and microbes, is incredibly rich. Hundreds of different species can live in just 1 square meter of seafloor mud, suggesting the deep-sea ecosystem is much more complex than we imagine. 43. Many deep-sea fish have tubular eyes to maximize the collection of faint overhead light. Creatures like the Barreleye have a transparent head that protects its eyes, which are shaped like 2 green tubes and can rotate upwards like telescopes, gathering the faint light from above to spot the silhouettes of prey moving in the dim twilight zone. 44. The abyssal plains are home to benthic creatures like sea cucumbers, sea stars, and sea lilies. These animals slowly crawl across the seafloor sediments or filter nutrients from the water. They act as the scavengers of the deep sea, playing a crucial role in maintaining the ecological balance of the seafloor. 45. Deep-sea water mass movement is extremely slow. The global ocean circulation, known as the thermohaline circulation, transports deep water from one ocean to another, a process that takes thousands of years to complete one cycle. This slow, continuous movement of deep-sea currents is a long-term stabilizer of the global climate system. Unique phenomena and evolution. 46. Deep-sea mud is rich in manganese nodules. These metal-rich, spherical concretions containing manganese, iron, nickel, copper, and cobalt are scattered across the abyssal plains. They grow at an exceptionally slow rate, adding only a few millimeters every million years. They are targets for future deep-sea mining, raising concerns about the disruption of deep-sea ecosystems. 47. Deep-sea exploration faces greater challenges than space exploration. The main obstacles are water pressure, darkness, and communication difficulties. High pressure demands extremely specialized equipment, and radio waves struggle to propagate in water. This makes deep-sea exploration technically and financially demanding. 48. One of the largest deep-sea animals is the giant isopod. It resembles a massive terrestrial cockroach, and it is a deep-sea scavenger. It can grow over 30 centimeters, 12 inches, long, feeding on the carcasses of animals that sink to the seafloor. Its large size is an example of deep-sea gigantism. 49. The whale fall ecosystem exists in the deep sea. When a massive whale dies and sinks to the seafloor, its carcass provides a rich food source for deep-sea creatures that can last for decades. This event is a rare, large-scale nutrient input in the deep sea, fostering unique communities of life. 50. Whale falls create unique biological communities in the deep sea. The life cycle of a whale fall is divided into several stages: mobile scavenger stage, opportunist stage, and chemosynthetic stage. In the final stage, chemosynthetic bacteria thrive on the sulfides released from the whale's bones, sustaining a miniature island of life for up to a century. 51. The deep sea is one of Earth's most stable and ancient habitats. For eons, the temperature, light, and chemical conditions there have changed very little. This stability has led to very slow rates of evolution for deep-sea creatures, with many species retaining ancient forms known as living fossils. 52. Deep-sea mud volcanoes expel cold mud and fluids. These geological structures on the seafloor slowly release fluids and gases from deep beneath the surface into the ocean. These fluids and gases also support unique chemosynthetic microbial communities. 53. Deep-sea carnivores mostly employ an ambush strategy. Due to the scarcity of food and energy, they must conserve energy. They typically remain motionless, waiting for prey to enter their attack range. This strategy results in body structures that are often soft and fragile, in contrast to the fast-moving predators of the shallow sea. 54. The largest mountain range on Earth is the mid-ocean ridge. This immense submarine mountain system stretches for tens of thousands of kilometers across all global oceans. It is a critical feature of plate tectonics and the most concentrated area for submarine volcanoes and hydrothermal vents. 55. The mid-ocean ridge is where the Earth's plates separate and new crust is formed. At the center of this huge range, tectonic plates are slowly pulling apart, and magma from the mantle continuously wells up, cooling to form new oceanic crust. It is evidence of ongoing geological activity deep within the Earth. 56. Many deep-sea fish have soft bones. Their skeletons and muscle density are low to reduce energy demands and help them maintain flexibility under immense pressure. This adaptation causes them to bloat and deform if brought rapidly to the surface due to decompression. 57. The most abundant form of life in the deep sea is microorganisms. Billions upon billions of microbial cells live in the seafloor sediments and the deep subsurface water. They are the most numerous life forms on Earth and are vital to the deep sea biogeochemical cycles. 58. Some deep-sea octopuses fast for up to 4 years while brooding their eggs. This is one of the longest brooding periods in the animal kingdom. The female octopus holds and protects the eggs with her arms, continuously ventilating them until they hatch. During this time, she does not eat, exhausting her own body's energy until death. This is an extreme example of self-sacrifice for offspring. 59. Many deep-sea creatures are transparent or semi-transparent. Especially in the twilight zone and deeper waters, transparency is the ultimate camouflage. A transparent body minimizes light reflection, making it difficult for predators to detect their silhouette. 60. The deep sea is referred to as a reservoir of biodiversity. Due to the stable environment and immense pressure, deep-sea organisms have evolved many unique biochemical mechanisms. Scientists are studying the genes of these creatures in search of new antibiotics, anti-cancer drugs, and biotechnological applications. Global impact and discovery. 61. Approximately 97% of the Earth's water is contained within the oceans. This highlights our overwhelming dependence on the ocean's health and stability. The ocean is not only the cradle of life, but also the ultimate steward of global climate and chemical balance. 62. The deep sea is home to a unique fish called the Barreleye. Its head is completely transparent, like a fluid-filled dome. Its eyes, shaped like 2 green barrels, can rotate upwards to look through the transparent skull, using this unique structure to detect faint silhouettes of prey in the dim twilight zone. 63. The deep-sea food web relies heavily on vertical migration. Every day at dusk and dawn, a massive biomass undertakes the largest animal migration on Earth, the vertical migration. They ascend to the surface waters at night to feed and descend back to the dark deep sea during the day to avoid predators. 64. Deep sea mud contains countless minute particles of cosmic dust. These tiny particles from space, after drifting and settling for millions of years, eventually land on the deep sea floor. They are a silent record of Earth's accumulation of matter from the cosmos. 65. The deep sea is the last unmapped frontier on Earth. Currently, less than 20% of the seafloor has been mapped in high resolution. We may know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans, highlighting the immense difficulty of deep-sea exploration. 66. The giant isopod is a living fossil. Its physical form closely resembles its ancestors from millions of years ago, with almost no evolutionary change. It found a perfect survival niche in the stable, unchanging environment of the deep sea. 67. Deep ocean currents are key regulators of global climate. The thermohaline circulation transports cold water from the poles to the equator and warm water back to the poles, acting as the Earth's heat pump. This large-scale water movement fundamentally influences global climate patterns. 68. Vast reserves of methane hydrates have been discovered in the deep sea. These are ice-like solids containing large amounts of methane gas stored within seafloor sediments. Scientists are concerned that if ocean temperatures rise, the release of these hydrates could accelerate global warming. 69. Deep-sea creatures have evolved ultra-sensitive hearing and lateral line systems in the darkness. With restricted vision, many deep-sea fish and invertebrates rely on water flow and vibrations to sense their environment. They can detect the smallest changes in water currents, using them to hunt or avoid danger. 70. The tentacles of giant deep-sea jellyfish can reach tens of meters. They drift slowly in the water column, their enormous tentacles acting like invisible nets, capturing any unfortunate prey that drifts into them. They are some of the most silent and awe-inspiring predators of the deep. 71. Deep-sea fish eyes are usually large to capture the faintest light. This is true for creatures in the Twilight zone. In the deeper abyssal zone, however, some organisms have completely degenerate eyes, as there is no light to use, forcing them to rely on other senses for survival. 72. Bioluminescence in the deep sea is sometimes called the starry night of the ocean. When deep-sea creatures flicker in the darkness, they create a visual landscape similar to the cosmos, full of glimmering lights. It is life's silent answer to the eternal darkness. 73. Deep-sea seamounts provide a window for scientists to study the Earth's internal structure. They are evidence of geological activity pushing internal rocks towards the seabed. Studying the structure and composition of these mountains helps us understand the formation and evolution of the Earth's crust. 74. Many deep-sea species have special proteins in their blood to help them survive under extreme pressure. These proteins and molecules prevent the collapse of cell structures and enzymes under high pressure. They form the biochemical basis for the deep-sea organism's adaptation to its extreme environment. 75. The deep sea features a unique phenomenon called the deep scattering layer. This is a dense layer composed of small marine organisms that migrate vertically. It ascends to the shallow waters to feed at night, and descends back to the deep sea during the day to avoid light and predators. This layer often appears as a false bottom on sonar. 76. Sediments beneath the deep-sea floor preserve millions of years of climate records. By drilling into these sediments, scientists can analyze their chemical composition and microfossils to reconstruct past global temperatures, ocean currents, and atmospheric CO2 levels. 77. The deep-sea living fossil coelacanth was once thought to be extinct. This fish was believed to have vanished during the age of the dinosaurs. It was rediscovered in the deep sea in the 20th century. Its body structure has remained unchanged for hundreds of millions of years, making it an important species for studying the evolution of fish into land animals. 78. Deep water masses exist in the deep sea, mixing very little with surface water. These immense water masses flow extremely slowly in the depths. They maintain unique chemical and physical properties, crucial for the stability of the deep-sea ecosystem. 79. The temperature gradient in the deep sea is minimal, with water temperature remaining constant year-round. Aside from localized areas like hydrothermal vents, deep-sea temperature fluctuations are tiny. This constancy fosters the slow, steady evolution of life, making the organisms highly sensitive to environmental changes. 80. Bioluminescence patterns in the deep sea are a form of communication code between species. Different species use different flickering frequencies, colors, and patterns to find mates, mark territory, or warn predators in the dark. It is a unique Morse code used in a lightless world. 81. Some deep-sea microbes are the most heat-tolerant on Earth. They can survive at extreme temperatures far exceeding 100 degrees Celsius near hydrothermal vents known as Hyperthermophiles. They offer crucial insights into how life can exist under the most challenging conditions. 82. The deep sea floor is one of the quietest places on Earth. Far from the coast and human activity, only occasional earthquakes, currents, and biological activities break the silence. This vast area represents a profound primal stillness. 83. Humans first descended into the Mariana Trench's Challenger deep in 1960. The submersible Trieste completed this feat, proving that humanity could reach the deepest point on Earth. This expedition was a major milestone in deep-sea exploration. 84. The deep sea is home to a unique creature called the vampire squid. It uses the webbing between its arms to wrap itself, forming a defensive posture that resembles a cloak. It can eject a sticky, glowing liquid to disorient predators, an elegant and unique defense mechanism. 85. The deep-sea carbon cycle is crucial for Earth's climate. Through both biological and physical processes, the deep sea removes vast amounts of carbon from the atmosphere, locking it away in deep-sea sediments for the long term, which helps balance the global carbon budget. 86. Deep-sea ecosystems known as cold seeps exist. They are fissures on the seafloor that seep fluids rich in hydrogen sulfide and methane. Unlike hydrothermal vents, their temperature is close to the surrounding seawater, but they also rely on chemosynthetic bacteria as the base of their food chain. 87. Cold seep ecosystems also depend on chemoautotrophic bacteria. These bacteria utilize the chemicals seeping from the cold vents for their life processes. They support a unique community of organisms, such as giant clams and mussels, which also host these symbiotic bacteria within their tissues. 88. Deep-sea animals have evolved the ability to be invisible in the dark. Their transparent bodies and non-reflective skin help them avoid being illuminated and exposed by the light emitted from bioluminescent predators. In a lightless world, they must strive to maintain their invisibility. 89. The deep sea is the feeding ground for many giant species, such as the sperm whale. Sperm whales can dive to depths of 2,000 meters and deeper to hunt giant squid and fish. They are immense predators that link the shallow and deep sea ecosystems. 90. Many new species in the deep sea are named after the expedition vessels that discovered them. This marks the imprint of human exploration, with every submersible and research vessel leaving its name on this unknown map. 91. 4-million-year-old shark teeth have been found on the deep sea floor. These colossal teeth belong to extinct ancient sharks like the megalodon. Covered in minerals, they have rested silently on the seafloor for millions of years, a record of oceanic history. 92. Deep sea microbes are being studied in the search for new antibiotics and medicines. Their unique ability to survive in extreme environments compels them to produce special compounds to fight off competitors. These compounds could lead to breakthroughs in human medicine. 93. Some deep-sea creatures exhibit counter-illumination. They emit light from their undersides that precisely matches the intensity and color of the faint blue light filtering from above, thereby erasing their silhouette and avoiding detection by upward-looking predators. 94. The deep sea is the world's most crucial marine snow factory. Deep sea life is utterly dependent on this continuous nutrient input. Their growth, survival, and reproduction are all built upon this slow and constant food supply. 95. Deep sea sediments contain a record of Earth's magnetic field reversals. By analyzing magnetic particles in the sediments, scientists can track the process of Earth's magnetic field, flipping over millions of years of vital finding in Earth's geology. 96. The pressure in the deep sea causes water molecules to pack more tightly. The physical properties of water change slightly under this high-pressure environment. Despite the low temperature, the high pressure slightly depresses the freezing point of water. 97. We know more about the surface of Mars than the deep sea floor. This frequently cited fact underscores the difficulty of deep sea exploration and our lack of knowledge about our own planet. The deep sea remains one of the largest frontiers in human scientific discovery. 98. The deep sea is a massive silent archive. It preserves millions of years of Earth's geological, climatic, and biological evolution. Every particle in the seafloor sediment records a distant past. 99. The life in the deep sea, even the smallest microbe, is a testament to the limits of life on Earth. They have found ways to survive in the extreme darkness, cold, and pressure, showcasing the resilience of life to thrive in the most improbable environments. 100. You are also a part of this deep-sea world. The salt in your blood is no different from that of the oceans hundreds of millions of years ago. The same ancient waters flow within you, and your origins trace back to the very first life that began in the water. On the scale of the Earth, we are all intimately connected to this profound blue home. Closing sequence. Now, the ocean begins to settle behind your thoughts. We have gently submerged ourselves into 100 quiet truths about the deep sea. From the bioluminescence in the darkness, to the life boiling at the hydrothermal vents, from the crushing pressure to the silent, millions of years old sediment. You are merely a visitor to Earth, yet you are simultaneously a participant in the ocean's story. Ancient waters flow within your body, and every atom within you is intimately connected to this planet. Tonight, as you rest, the deep sea remains profound. Giant whales dive, marine snow falls, and silent life flickers in the dark. And you are gently floating within this peaceful, vast blue narrative. I hope you sleep well and dream softly. Good night.